God put in motion two things in the garden: justice and accountability. When justice is broken down, regulations come with repercussion. Rights comes with benefits and privileges. When you obey the law and you keep to the regulations, your right is sustained by heaven. The blessings and the benefits come to you.
This is Selfless City, known as Standard Life Christian Center, where we raise saints with selfless spirit. Ministering Pastor Paul Adumoha, Senior Pastor of SLCC.
The first definition of a man by society is that a man is a person who provides, leads, protects, and fights for his family. That's the first definition that the society has put up for a man. The second definition of a man by society is that the man is the strongest amongst the family and most emotionally stable. That the man is the strongest amongst the family and most emotionally stable. The third definition that the society has put up for men is that a man is the fixer, the go-getter, the miracle worker, the final bus stop for solution when it comes to family problem. The fourth definition that the society has put up for a man is that a man is the measure of family success or family failure. So if a family fails, a man is a failed man. If a family is succeeding, is a great man. So as I was saying, I sat down with that man and we were having a discussion. And I was saying a few things. And he was opening up the wounds, the scar, the pains, the things. And he got to a point, he says, "Sir, I have never said this thing to anybody. I've lived with this thing for close to 20 years of my life. I've bottled it." As he was talking, tears was gathering in his eye. He was not an emotional person. I've known him for close to 15 years. He's not an emotional person. But he was dying inside. He was being eaten from within. There was something eating his heart. He was going through pain. He was broken. He was destroyed as a person. So there are thousands of men that walk around that you see on the street. They come out in the morning. They are well shaved, well dressed. Their clothes are ironed. They put on a smiling face. They encourage others. When there is difficulty in the family, they are the ones that people run to for advice. But the man is dying. The man is going through hard pain. The man is broken. The man is totally destroyed. The man is tired of life. He's just existing. He's a walking corpse as we speak. He has lost all sense of hope. But if you look at him physically, you see a man that smiles. No, he's putting up a veil. And remember, I said the veil of a faithful man. I didn't say the veil of a man. So I'm not talking about a man that is useless. I'm not talking about a man that cannot take care of his family. I'm not talking about a man that is a drunkard, a womanizer, a man that breaks the heart of others, a man that has no ambition, no goal, that lives life part-time. That's not the kind of man I'm talking about. I'm talking about a faithful man, a man that has made up his mind to fight for his family. A man that got into marriage and after getting into marriage has made up his mind that I'm going to give my best to this family. I'm going to stand as a man here. I'm going to fight. I'm going to protect. I want to show you some of the ways or marks that these men put up. Sometimes we call it silent death. The guy is dying silently. He's not talking, but his body language is speaking for him. He has never complained for one day, but when he sits down, the way he looks and gets lost in thought communicates more than 1,000 words. The guy comes and he smiles. He walks on the street. He shakes people. People come to the house for him to counsel them, but the guy is living in a pit that no one can bring him out. Why? He has veils over it. The first veil of a faithful man is what we call financial pressure. The way the society is structured in such a way that a man, based on the definition I gave to you, I said a man is defined as a person that provides for the family, that leads the family, that protects the family, that fights for the success of the family. So this definition put up by society puts the man in what we call financial pressure. That guy has 10 million naira, but the problem facing him is 50 million. The guy earns 100,000 every month, but the problem he has is about 250,000 every month. The guy has done everything humanly possible to reduce costs. He has come to a level where he has abandoned himself. But even after abandoning himself, the things he brings home is still not enough and never enough. He gets pressure from the house, pressure from mother, pressure from siblings, pressure from wife, pressure from kids, pressure from society, pressure from village meeting, pressures from clubs, pressure from society, pressure from everywhere. There's something that has been put up in society that naturally puts a man under financial pressure in Africa, most especially. In other parts of the world, once you leave your father's house, most times you leave your father's responsibility. In Africa, once you leave your father's house, you take up responsibility of a family. You have your own family. You still carry the responsibility of your parents. Sometimes you carry the responsibility of your siblings. So the guy is ever working, but never able to meet up with the demand of society in terms of finances. The second veil that most men cover or put up marks is what we call constant criticism. Not ever doing enough. If you see a woman is seen by words. So if you have a wife, how a woman recognizes that she's seen is when you talk to her, you listen to her, you care for her, you buy her gift, you buy her, remember her special days, her birthdays, wedding anniversaries, and stuff like that. Most men are not seen by just words. They don't take criticism as words. They take criticisms as attitude, body language. Let me give you an example. Never doing it. You come out with your wife in the morning. You enter a bus. You are going to a traditional wedding of a friend. And as both of you were walking out of your house, your wife sees her friend that both of them went to school. They graduated at the same time, maybe about 10, 15 years ago. And a friend of your wife, the husband, happens to have a car. So what happened? Your wife waves at her friend, greets them, smile. You enter the bus with the woman. And the woman stopped talking. And both of you were discussing, were chatting, were laughing before you got into the bus. She does not need to say anything. That position, that body language, that attitude, men see it, they absorb it. It starts killing something on the inside. Most men walk with constant criticisms. They move with it like a garment. It drowns their life. It drowns them as a person. So the woman might not open her mouth to constantly criticize, but her attitude and body language shows constantly that you are not doing enough. The third one is emotional neglect. Loneliness created by societal definition. It's just like what I told you. The guy came to me. There's this thing, men don't cry. Naturally, in Africa, men don't cry. Neglect. I've spoken to some men and I asked them a question. When did you feel neglected in your home? Some men say they felt neglected when their wives started having children. Some other men say they felt neglected when they noticed that the woman is becoming a bit financially stable. Some other men say they felt neglected when their income or resources dropped. Some other men say they felt neglected when their wife got into relationship with other people that their husband apparently appears to be more successful than her own husband. There is just a vacuum created. The man feels lonely. You know why? Women communicate by thoughts. Men communicate by respect. God never, read your Bible. It is never mentioned anywhere in the Bible where you will see God as a woman love your husband. Never. You can read your Bible up and down, go and check. You will never find anywhere in the Bible where God gave a woman instruction to love. Why? Women are beings of emotion. They express emotion easily. Men are logical in nature, and so they are not emotionally vibrant like the woman. So, if you don't understand that a man is a logical being and you deal with him logically, you can profess love to him. You can tell him, I love you, I care for you, you are the best. Your words does not align with your attitude. Your words does not align with your body language. So most men are in the house. There's noise in their house. There are thousands of people living in their house. He lives with his wife, his children, his cousins, his brother, his mother and father. But the guy is lonely even in the noisy environment. Why? Because the loneliness of a man is not the absence of words, but the absence of God. The number 4 veil that men put up is the veil of fear, of shame, and failure. I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria, Igbo to be precise. There's something that is peculiar with my tribe. When you give birth to children and they start growing up, at the age of 1 to 18, 20, 25, respect is dished out based on what? On the number of age, how old you are. Once you get to 22, 23, you are out of the university, you start working. You notice that respect and value in the family in terms of ranking start changing based on success and what you can accumulate. Your mother that usually call you as the first son to ask for advice, switch to the last born that now has a car, is building a house in the village. You will notice that some things will happen in your family. You will be hearing it you will be the last person to hear. You are the first son of the house. Your mom has called the son or the child in quotes that is more important and significant. So something is happening in the village. Your father's roof was pulled away by storm when it was raining. You are not aware of it. Your mom and your dad picked up the phone, called your last brother, who happens to be rich, and he sent money for the roof to be taken care of. And 3 months later, you are discussing with your mom. He said, thank you, Pukao. He was the one that provided money for roofing the house the last 2 months. The man dies. Something is broken. So naturally, the way our society is structured, especially in Africa, is that a man lives up. There's a measure of within the man to measure up. The man is afraid of shame and afraid of failure. It is something that a man undergoes on a daily basis. It is a veil that a man carries, especially a faithful man. Societal ranking based on success that can be attributed on wealth, financial resources, political position, status in the place of work, seniority in most African countries is not based on age and experience. Once you hit adulthood, seniority is based on accomplishments, money, wealth, financial resources, status in society, political authority, and power. The next veil that men put up, faithful men put up, is what we call lack of space to vent. Lack of space to vent. Why? Because society said real men don't cry. In Africa, real men don't cry. Great men don't cry. If a man cries, he's termed a weakling. He's seen as a weak man. He's seen as a soft man. Society labels him a failure. They qualify him as an unfit man. They call him a baby man. Some call him a boy man. Why? Because the way society has defined us is that real men don't cry. So men are not allowed to vent. Men are not allowed to cry. Men are not allowed to complain and get tired and frustrated and just voice it out. So most men bottle it up. And what happens? The man becomes aggressive. He becomes touchy. Little things piss him off. A little thing you do before he will smile, the guy starts shouting. The woman says the man has changed. No, the man is looking for how to vent. The man is looking for where to cry, but there's no opportunity given to him by society to cry. So what happens? He bottles his emotion. He cries in his heart. Then in order to express that tears, he becomes aggressive to everything around. Why? Society said men do not cry. The next veil that most men cover up is insufficient appreciation. Insufficient appreciation. Let me see. What is insufficient appreciation? Constant comparison. Constant comparison. When a man is made to constantly measure up to a person is not seen. So you give your wife 150,000 naira to go and buy things for the children, and you give her 150,000 naira to go and buy things for herself. Christmas period, and your wife says to you, thank you. In one breath she said thank you. In the other breath she said, can you guess what? You say what? You say your younger brother, the wife just caught me. Your younger brother gave his wife that. In one breath, you just said thank you. In the other breath, you just said what your younger brother did. Now, the woman has not said, I don't appreciate what you're giving. That simple comparison has killed the man. It has made the man feel unappreciated, working and slaving down but not being noticed. Most men carry this veil around. And that's why majority of men these days die young. You go to the cemetery, you see men 54, 46, 57. 60 is now old age for most men in life. Why? Because these are veils. They are marks. They mark it. They cover it. They come out with it on daily basis. But the guy is done. The next veil is what we call work and life balance. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 says there's time for everything. Work and life balance. Most men in Nigeria work and work and work and work and work and work and work. And when they get home, they keep work. Do you know why our fathers lived, our fathers of the 60s and 70s live longer than us? They wake up in the morning, they take their baths, they pick up their cutlasses or hoe or baskets, they go to the farm, they start farming. If they are cultivating the ground, they start cultivating or constructing ridges. They get to a certain period in the afternoon, the wife or children come and bring food and water. Then whatever the man has gathered from the farm, whether it is wood, whether it is harvested yam or tubers or whatever, the man is not concerned about that. He washes his hoe, his cutlass or whatever. It is the kids and the wife that carries those things back home. And they drop it. The man gets into his house, he takes his bath, he sits down, he eats. He will not do anything again till end of day. Nothing. He won't touch anything again till end of day. Every other work is done by the wife and kids. The next morning he wakes up, he continues the same task. Today, a man wakes up by 6:30 to go to work. He is driving 2 hours 30 minutes to his office. But he will have to pick up the kids and drop them at school, then make a U-turn and continue his trip to the place of work. He does that every day. The way God structured family is that from the age of 1 to 12, the woman trains the child. From the age of 12 and above, the man takes over. That's the Hebrew culture. That's the Jewish code for family. But the society has reversed it. So what happened is that there's no work-life balance anymore. The man is stressed from January to December. There's no time to take care of himself. One day he slumps. And what happened? People gather, cry, he's dead, he's buried. Life continues. The guy is putting up a veil, and there are thousands and thousands. The more I talk to men, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of men. A guy came to me one day, he sat down. I said, what is happening? He said, Paul, my head wants to explode. I just want to sit down. My head is full. I just want to sit down. It's as if my head is exploding. I asked him, do you have a problem with your wife? No. Did you guys call it yesterday? No. Are you guys okay? Yes. What is the problem? Veils. Veils. Bottled issue. Max problem that the man carries around, that he's hoping that someone will see, but unfortunately nobody is seeing it. The next one, or the last one, is what we call silent depression. Missed opportunities. Regrets, scars, betrayals from loved ones and friends. Betrayals, missed opportunities. I was talking to a man one day. I and my wife went to visit him. A very successful man, was doing quite well, was driving Jeep, doing very well. But he was the first son in his family. He trained all his younger ones. And after he finished training them, they abandoned him. At the time of his wealth, at the time of his success, when the money was coming, his mates were building houses. He was paying school fees for siblings. His mates were building houses. He was sponsoring siblings to America to go for masters. He was sending them to school, establishing businesses for them. When his bones started getting weak, when he clocked 55, 60, the things he normally does with ease, he can no longer do it. He goes out to do the same thing. He comes back with back pain. His BP goes up. He turns around, is abandoned. So the guy lives in silent depression and in silent pain and frustration. He sits in the morning. And so what you see? In the morning you see him laugh. It is whenever he has opportunity to talk to a set of people he believes are friends and genuine lovers of him, then he opens his car. And what do you see? You see dead bones, rotting flesh, maggot, scars, pain, agony. You see a man that is dying silently, that is just waiting for time. You see a person that is existing, that is no longer living. Why? Silent depression. First Thessalonians chapter 5 said, verse 8. First Thessalonians 5 said, a man that cannot feed his family is worse than an infant. And what happened? Society created a tag from that verse. Pastors painted it as a tag, and they placed it on the man. And so, what happened? The question I ask people sometimes is, based on the definition that society has given us, have you not seen women that are stronger than men commercially? Have you not seen women natural that has brighter prospects, more intelligent than men and even their husbands? Where do society put such men? How do you classify them? What do you put? If you go to churches today, you will notice that 70% of church members are women. 20 to 30%. 20% are young boys and girls, young children. 10% are men. You know what? Where are the remaining 70% of men? Frustration. They have waited for God not. Most of them have carried this veil for 5 years, 10 years, 10, 20 years. Something in their subconscious mind has now believed that God does not work. They have lived with failure. They have carried sorrow. They are tired. They are waiting for time. What is the solution to these problems? The first one is do your best and leave the rest. Deuteronomy chapter 24 verse 16, the Bible said something. Let a son die the death of his son, and let a father die the death of his father. Do your best and leave the rest. Do your best and leave the rest. Once you have attained your best as a man, leave the rest. You are not God. No man is called El Shaddai. It's only God that bears that name. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 16. He said, fathers should not be put to death for their children, nor children put to death for their fathers. Each is to die for his own sin. Some people trained their children, did everything possible, spent their life, sent the children with the hope that when the child becomes successful, the child will remember. Most children forget. I'm a pastor. I'm speaking to you. I'm telling you the truth. I have never in my life banked on the children I gave birth to take care of me in my old age. I set up resources to take care of myself when I get old. If my children appreciate what I've done for them and out of gratitude decide to take care of me, I will be happy. But if not, it will not cost me one drop of tears. Why? I've decided that on my own before I gave birth to them. Do your best and leave the rest. Most men, when they are dying on their bed, they die in regret. They die crying. So the first solution is what? Do your best. Work as hard as you can. Provide anything you think you have the capacity to provide. Once you have hit your limit, move the other ones to God. Let God provide it. You are not El Shaddai. You are a human being. Number 2 solution is practice self-compassion. Treat yourself well. I've made up my mind to settle this. One day I was in school. Some people were gossiping about me, saying some derogatory words about me. So I came to where they were staying. I said, bros, how are they now? Now where them? I shook them. They heard me. They know I heard them. I shook them. I smiled and walked out. You know why? God gave you mouth to speak. I cannot control what you speak with your mouth. But the last thing I will do is to allow what you say with your mouth to affect me. That is your mouth. You can decide to use it any way you want. God gave it to you. So it's not my business how you use your mouth or what you say. Treat yourself. Practice self-compassion. Have respect for yourself. Have love for yourself. Have dignity for yourself. Define your self-worth. Don't allow anybody define it for you. Not your mother, not your father, not your brother, not your sister, not your children, not your kids. Half truths are scarce, but we say. Let me say something. I can die for my family, my kids, and my wife. But I'm not dying to please them. I'm dying because it is principles in the Bible. So my death is centered on obedience to God. So that is why there's nothing any human being can do on earth to me today that can make me heartbroken. I don't have a heart, doctors of the world, that can be broken. The only person that has my heart is God. I have no heart for any human being created by God, living under the sun today. Never. I've never experienced heartbreak. I don't know what it is. I made up my mind at the age of 19 to kill it and stop it. Because why? When I was growing up, I grew up with a lot of derogatory words, scandal. I walk, people are laughing. So it got to a point in my life that I have to make decision to love myself for myself. And when I settled it, it was fine. And since that day, I don't have hearts to be broken. So the second solution is practice self-compassion. Love yourself as a man. Compliment yourself as a man. When you do something great, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I've done well. I'm proud of myself. Don't allow it come from another person. Whatever is coming from another person, let it be support. Let it be jara. Let it be addition. But the source should come from. The number 3 solution is build covenant friends and relationship. 1 Samuel chapter 23 verse 16 to 18. The Bible said, and Jonathan came to Joseph in Haresh, and they made a covenant. They made a bond And the guy said to him, I will have your back till I'm dead. Build covenant relationship. Build covenant friends. Do not be afraid, he said. My father Saul will not lay a hand on you. You will be a king over Israel. I will be second to you. Even my father Saul knows this. Build covenant relationship. Build covenant friendship. And how do you do this? You look for friends. When you find such friends, they are very rare. You find such friends. Hold them with your life. Build covenant relationship with them. A man was telling a story. He traveled to United States of America with a family. He was working in an oil company. He sold his house, sold his car. The wife happens to be in the medical field. He was not in the medical field. He was in the engineering field. So when they got to America, he took part of the money that he has and gave to the wife to brush up her skills in the medical field. And he started doing Uber. 1 or 2 years, when the wife brushed up her skills, the children, they are a bit mature, they are in their teens. The wife met some group of women that are into women depression. The man was chased out of his house. They called police on him, locked him up, deported him back to Nigeria. The guy came into the country, wanted to commit suicide. But before he made that attempt to commit suicide, he remembered a friend of his and called on the phone and said, guy, you don't go see your man again. After today, your man don't go. The friend told him, wherever you are, enter the next available cab or Uber. Come and meet me in this place. The guy entered the car, came, narrated his ordeal to his friend. The first thing the friend did was to look for accommodation and settle him. Placed him in a place, calmed him down for 1 month, allowed him to settle emotionally, gave him money to start up business. The guy started up business, recovered most of the things he was doing, started doing supplies with a contract he has while he was working in an oil company. Picked up his life again, got married in Nigeria, and started having kids. What saved him? Covenant, friendship, and relationship. Covenant, friendship, and what? And relationship. The fourth solution is learn to cry before God. I don't cry before men. I cry before God. When my heart is full, I cry before Him. And when I say cry, I'm not talking about shout. I literally shed tears in front of Him. I vent in terms of in front of God. Sometimes when my head is full, I go to Him, lock the door, and complain to Him, because that's the only ear that listens to me. That's the only ear that cannot judge me. That's the only ear that cannot say I'm a failed man, or I cannot measure up to other men. So when you learn to cry to God, learn to cry to Him literally. When you come to God, become a baby. The fifth one is value consistency over speed. Small and daily steps towards success. Don't let anyone push you. Value consistency over speed. Ensure you make small and daily steps towards success. Do not allow anybody push you. Do not allow anybody push you. Because it's when people push you, they push you into depression. People push you into competition. People push you into frustration. People push you into pain. People push you into agony. The next one, learn to rest. Exodus chapter 20, verse 8 to 10. When God was giving the Israelites law, He gave them a day called the day of Sabbath. He said to them, on the 7th day rest. On the 7th year, He said, don't do anything on the 7th year. On the 7th year, He said, rest 7 times in the 7th year. So the first rest God said to them in Exodus was on the 7th day, keep it holy. That's the day of Sabbath, rest. The 7th year is the year of Jubilee. He said, don't work that year. Rest that whole year. There are 7 times within that same whole year, rest. So learn to rest. I was preaching to a guy and I asked him what's happening. He said he goes to church. That the reason why he goes to our sister church is because the whole service is 1 hour. So he rushes to church in the morning. He goes to 8 a.m. service. They close by 9. He rushes to the shop, opens the shop, and do business. So he works Monday to Sunday. The only difference on Sunday for him is that it takes 1 hour to go to mass. Rest. So I told him, I said, rest. I said, if you have been working 7 days in a week, you are not rich. If you still work 6 days, you will not be poor. Take 1 day and rest. Learn to rest. The next one is set boundaries on your emotion. I did this at the age of 19. Set boundaries on your emotion. I don't allow what criticism break me. Now, if you criticize me as a person, what I will do is that I will look at the surface of what you have mentioned. If it has to do with job, I will try and work very well. If it has to do with management, I will look at it. But if you dish out criticism that touches my self-worth, I discard it like a piece of rag. I set boundaries on my emotion. I define my self-worth. You don't define it. You don't tell me how successful I am. I determine how successful I am under the God. You don't tell me because I've done this, I'm less successful than this person that has done this, done it. No, I'm the judge of that. I define my level of success under God. I don't allow anyone mess up my emotion. Once your emotion is messed up, your worth as a man dies, your creativity dies, your self-belief dies. Whatever, you become a worse version of yourself. Set boundaries on your emotion. Take care of yourself and make plans for long-term care and retirement. This is where I was. The way Africa is structured is not the fault of the women, but it's the fault of society. When you give birth to children, they start going to school. The man pays the school fees. I'm talking about a faithful man. Remember, the topic is the ways of what? Of a faithful man. The man starts paying the school fees. He pays the schools of the children. He provides practically everything for him. The wife supports. When the children get to an age where they want to leave the home, they leave the home, they settle in other places. They started working. Some of them are married, some of them are not married. The lady gives birth. Your wife goes for a walk. They buy her gifts and everything. Most times when they are coming back as a father, they get you a bottle of wine and maybe towel with 10,000 naira. But your life was spent 22 years for that child. They get you a bottle of wine towel, and maybe 10,000 naira. I'm not saying taking care of your mother is bad. I'm just giving you societal picture. What society has created, especially in Africa, and why men in Africa die premature and die before their time. So, the child pays the mother's transport to and fro, buys her wrapper and clothes that she will wear while in her house, buy her special clothes she will wear during the Thanksgiving service when they are taking their child for dedication. Because most times, most men don't want to leave their house. They go and stay. I can't imagine myself leaving my house, going to my daughter's house and the husband, sit there in the morning. I can't imagine me doing that. My father never left his house to visit any of my sisters or brothers when they give birth. They bring the child home. Because that's the African culture. That's the way the man is. So what happens is that I see them. They buy things for my mother. It comes a lot of things. They give her money. Even the friends of my brother or the friends of the daughter, when they come, Mama, take 10,000, 50,000. So before the woman comes back home, she's coming back with be like 200,000. Then if the husband of your daughter has conscience, he gives a bottle of wine, a towel, and 10,000 naira. Say, Mama, when you get home, give Papa this. My mother was placed on monthly salary for years before she died. My dad was only giving money Christmas period. It's the society. It does not make the children bad. It's just the society, how Africa has molded and fashioned a man, and why most men die before their time. Take care of yourself. Make plans for your retirement. Because most men die in agony when they hit the age of 60. They have spent their life and their entire being hoping that the children they have trained, they will not fall back on. The child has traveled to US. You have spent millions of naira to take care of that child. The child travels to US, gets married in US, stays in US, refuses to come back. You ask the child what's happening. He said Africa is not safe. Boko Haram is everywhere. They are kidnapping. Once in a while, you call and call and call. After 3 months, they pick up the calls. I'm so sorry that they have been busy work. We're not allowed to use phone in our office. They send you $500, $1,000. The money you use to train that child in the university, if you put it in shares, can build 5 houses after 22 years. So for you not to die in regret as a man, for you not to die frustrated, what do? Set aside little income for your retirement. It might be 5,000, it might be 10,000. You just buy shares with it continually. You are not touching that money until your kids are out of your home. They are now settled, they are living on their own. It is not you and your wife. That is what you fall back on. Or make investment. Then, presently, time to time, take care of yourself. Take yourself out, even if it's once or twice a year. You as a man, take yourself out. Let's stand to our feet.
Worship with us at 15 Osolo Way, Ajao Estate, off International Airport Road, Lagos, Nigeria. Time 9 a.m. every Sunday. Also, join us every last Friday of the month for a healing and communion service, a powerful night of miracles and restoration. For more info, contact us on 081 4834 7456 or 081 36 443 190. Follow us on Facebook at Selfless City, on TikTok at Selfless_City, on Instagram at Pastor_Paul_Adumoha, and subscribe on YouTube at Selfless City.